Hello, we are live.
We live?
We're live. We are live, Morty.
Hey, hello everybody. This is Morty here, and a long time no see. Hello, David. How are you today?
I'm very well, Morty. How are you?
Great. The sun is not shining here, but it's all right. I make the sunshine wherever I go. Speaking of which, sunshine, we got the championship happening, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. A ray of adventure in our life is no doubt the Extreme Improv Extreme Team Championship, and we are deep into the second half of the brackets, so that we will be
yeah.
having the next quarterfinal round tonight. The surprisingly the fifth quarterfinal, which doesn't sound possible, but it is.
Yeah, you're doing something different this year here with the brackets. You know, you got three teams competing in one show.
Yep.
That's crazy.
In the semi-finals, there, we've trimmed the fat. We have got it so that in the quarter-final rounds there are just 12 teams, whereas obviously in the first one we had 16 teams. But it means that each team can have more players, and it means that we do go into that triple threat semi-final round.
Oh man, that's exciting. This for the second year of this team championship is things is really heating up. The first semifinal, we saw another quarterfinal. We saw the Flames and what's the other team
The cuddly koalas.
that didn't win? The Cuddly Koalas. Yeah, so we had the Flames and the Cuddly Koalas, and uh, that one was a doozy. Did you think that the Flames were gonna come out hot?
Yeah, it was a super close. Like, all of the matchups so far have been super close. Obviously, the dramatic finish of the second quarterfinal round we'll get to in a moment, but the ending of the Cuddly Koalas and Flames did see the record broken for the longest extreme monologue, with Quinn just absolutely decimating all previous times.
Yeah, I heard that. I wish we had a clip. So Quinn, they broke the record, right?
Absolutely, it was something like we were in a unique situation where we lost a player, and so then they had to nominate another player to who'd already had a go to have another go. But between our two attempts, Quinn did something like 4 minutes single handedly.
Oh snap! And so, what was Quinn's suggestion?
Gosh, it eludes me now. I honestly can't remember what the character was at the time, but it was something where it was just, it may have been like something like Dick Dastardly, or I forget, Michael Caine, something in between those two.
I imagine a lot of listing was going on.
Not as much as actually as other times. There was just a lot of like verbal dexterity, a lot of like vocal gymnastics to be able to keep incorporating different elements from all four corners of the dictionary.
Oh, okay. That was a lot of words you just said there.
Well, I'm trying to make it seem
Okay.
like I'm like an analyst of some kind. I have a pen.
Yeah, don't do that. I want to understand what you're saying.
Fair
Hey,
enough.
well, listen. I've seen this game before, and I know that the trick I've seen to getting longer time on this game is to list off things that you see around you. I've seen a lot of people do that. So when I heard that Quinn got this record, I'm like, okay, there was a lot of listing going on, but you're telling me that's not what happened. Oh,
There may have been some listing, but it like certainly others, like sometimes we had to introduce the Hannah McGowan rule, where after a couple of years of playing this game, Hannah just started counting, like paint by numbers, one, two, three, four. We had to say, like, as like, in the interest of the sportsmanship, that we had to keep lists to things that weren't just counting.
man. I played this game before too, and I've done a couple of listings myself. But I try to keep within the context of what I'm supposed to be, like who I'm supposed to be, right? It's got to make sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man.
You want to make sense because even if you win the game technically, you're going to lose the crowd if you go in for that like technical victory. You're not going to win over the audience.
Well, good on Quinn, and that basically won for the Flames, right?
No, Quinn was actually on the Cuddly Koalas. This was something that
What?
brought it to a very close finish because like whilst the Flames did overall get the most points from competitive play and from the votes overall, like the finale game, Quinn took it home for the Cuddly Koalas.
That must really like put a little a thorn in your side when you do such an incredible feat and only to lose.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the things with like the way the championship works. It's like a game of Quidditch where you can score points along the way, but it's all about catching that golden snitch, which is the big vote that comes at the end.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, but this is something which was even more like
Golden. Yeah.
the golden snitch. Yeah, this was something that was even more relevant in the second quarterfinal because that actually, culminated in a tie and a tie-break situation, which goes to show that points earned in competitive play and points earned during the end vote all really do count. There's not one thing that counts more than the other.
So you're talking about the werewolves and the fish,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's I saw that one. That one was pretty interesting. We had it was a bit of controversial, I think too. We have a double agent on there.
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
player
Like
playing on that team.
in the spirit of yes and like when a team player is down, then like we do open things up for subs to come from anywhere else in the improv world, even a rival team. So controversy, but we see it as like togetherness and like just helping out your fellow improviser. We had Corey Birch, who obviously was scheduled to be part of the Geek Squadron team on the 4th of February, but jumping in on the 3rd just to like hold up those werewolves, actually taking them to victory.
Yeah, that's why I think it was controversial because they did a good job, those werewolves, but I think it was partly due to having Corey on the team. So I don't know. Call me controversial comment guy, but I think that's gonna hurt them in the end unless they get a ringer to replace him. Because I heard he's gonna stay with the Geek Squadron, who he won with.
Yeah, absolutely. So Corey, he was a sub for the werewolves, so there will be a different werewolf who'll be joining Tim, DB, and Oliver when it comes to the semi-final round. But Corey is going to firmly be on the Geek Squadron team, along with Jennifer, Paul, and Elke.
Yeah. So do we know who the replacement for Corey?
I think they're keeping this as a surprise. We're hearing that we're hearing rumors of De Niro. We're hearing rumors that Hanks may be in there, but until actually like we hit the arena, I don't know.
No way.
Yeah.
Jed Hanks.
Yeah, Jed Hanks.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
Elroy
God,
De
yeah, I
Niro
heard
is like he is gearing up to be there.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
All right. So let's get to that second semifinal. Well, I mean, I keep calling it a semifinal. I don't know anything about brackets. Is it obvious? The quarterfinal. So we saw the Flames. We saw the upset. Even though Quinn had a great round, the Flames still took over. And then with the Werewolves, they had a tiebreak. I noticed that, and that tiebreaker was was what was it? They had to do another one, right?
Yeah,
They had
so
to
like the
dominate another
finale,
person.
the finale round we always go for is the extreme monologue. So it ended, instead of it being an accumulation of time, it ended with like last person standing. So whoever took control of the monologue at the end of 60 seconds, which had Corey nominated, but up against Dave Green. Obviously, Dave was representing the Exploding Fish here last year, like grand finalist as part of the Vampire Penguins.
Right. You know, it's interesting. This reverse hot potato that you play. That's what I call it. This that I mean, it can work out in your favor, and then it also can, because you know you could go a long time, right? And then it could be a minute and 50 seconds, right? And then you repeat a word, and then that person takes over, and they do 10 seconds, and then boom, they win.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It is sudden death. You know, it's all about like playing the
yeah.
strategy. You could let someone get in there early and just play the long game to let them make a mistake and just wait to pounce on it.
Yeah. That's what I heard. And then what? Let me ask you something about this final round. What made you decide that the final round, instead of doing the regular impression battle royale, what made you decide to do the monologue?
Yeah, well, traditionally the finale rounds have always either been the extreme monologue or to be the impressions round, and we're absolutely going to see the impressions round play a big factor later on in the championship. But this is just something for, as we are in championship season, just to be able to mix things up, to change up the rules, just like the rules changed slightly on the single syllable showdown. There's going to be a couple more surprises just in terms of keeping performers on their feet.
Yeah. Well, so do you have any surprise? You don't have to tell us what it is, but you know, just let me know if there's any new games you're gonna be introducing during this team championship.
Absolutely. As we make it through to the semi-final rounds, there will be a couple of new games, and like the logic going into it was that for the quarterfinals, there's a lot of players who have played on extreme improv shows regularly, but there's also like a lot of fresh talent and new blood, and just putting them all into a lot of familiar games, but with a couple of tweaks here and there, meant that returning players and new players alike could be on a similar footing. As we've got everyone used to things a little bit more, then it means that going into the semi-finals, then the new players will now be seasoned veterans to be able to take on the challenge of something brand new.
Oh, so you're conditioning us. Is that what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Sounds like some cult stuff, but I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
All right. Hey, so let's get into the third one, right? So the final one, the final quarterfinal. Well, not the final. There's
The
six
final
of
on
them,
the
right?
first half of the brackets. We had the Geek Squadron
Yeah,
and the random tardigrades.
yeah. So the Geek Squadron won, and that's the team that you said Corey was on, right?
Yeah, Corey along
So
with
so
Paul, Jennifer, and Elke.
yeah. I heard that was a pretty close one as well.
Yeah,
You
that was.
know, it was a. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was an absolute barn burner.
A barn burner. Is that like it's like British slang?
Quite possibly. I think it just means like a big party.
You burn a barn
No,
at your parties?
no. We don't. I don't generally. I've never. I've stayed in a barn once, and that was in France.
It didn't burn.
It didn't burn. It had a leak in the roof.
Okay. Barn leaker. I don't get some of these, these expressions, Sometimes I take them literal and you're not supposed to because they mean something else. But, People don't tell me what they mean, and they just say them, and I'm gonna take it literal.
Yeah.
So just know that. And you know, with you being from the UK, I'm sure you got lots of slang. It took me a while to realize that the lift was an elevator.
Yeah, yeah. What do you call an escalator?
An escalator.
Oh, wow.
What do you call it?
An escalator.
Ah, look at that. We match.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of words. Like, even tip here means something different. Over there it means a garbage landfill.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
That's crazy.
It's because like we tip things out.
Yeah, you guys very literal with that.
Yeah.
Tip and then you tip. We just call it trash.
What?
Garbage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you guys call it rubbish.
It is rubbish, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys don't say garbage or trash.
We can say garbage as well. You know, like
Yeah.
we're verbose with our vocabulary.
Yeah, oh, verbose, there you go, showing off.
I was quite proud of that one.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people tell me that, you know, if I had a British accent, I would sound smarter. I don't know if that's an insult or what. To me, not to British people, but I don't know. What do you think? Do I sound stupid?
No, quite the opposite. You know, I think like when you hear British people like on American shows, it sounds like the British people sound weird. I wouldn't say that we necessarily sound smarter. I just think that we sound weird. Like I think like generally like Americans, if you have like a group of British people and then there's like one American on like a TV show, like the American sounds like the authority in the room. But that's just my personal opinion.
Oh. Yeah, but you know what I find, like especially on a sitcom in here in America, if there's a room full of Americans and one British person, that British person is the joke.
It's the joke. Quite possibly.
No, that's not like they're just a joke, but I mean like everything is about them being a fish out of water.
Maybe like wasn't Daphne in Frasier like English and everyone else was American? So, and like
Was she?
I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I think she's English.
Well, that's different. I'm talking about in general. That's one specific. But I'm talking about like I'll see like nowadays they'll have one British person and they say things and it's forgiven because they're British.
Okay.
They'll say silly things and it's like, oh, they're just British. I don't know. I don't know if they're turning it into. Well, I've seen the same with Americans. You guys call us Yankees and stuff, and you make fun of us. So I think it's fitting.
Quite possibly. What do you call British people?
British people.
There you go.
What am I supposed to? Is that offensive?
No, not at all.
Well, what have you heard anything offensive that people call British people as Americans?
What like to call American people something offensive?
No, have you heard American people calling a British person something offensive?
Not really. Like generally, I like personally, I kind of wouldn't care. Like I'd probably agree with them.
Well, then that's the thing. There's nothing offensive that we can call you, really. You know, Yankee has turned into an offensive thing. I don't know why you got the Yankee team.
But I thought, like, is it the New York Yankees?
Yeah, but apparently, I guess it's the way it's said, Yankee.
Well, it does sound like a slang expression for something else, but.
Yeah. Oh, well, for Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe you're yanking my chain. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, see the thing, I think what is it? The Paul Revere said, the British, but he didn't say the Brit. He said the redcoats, right? Also, the British. What color was your coats in that war?
Do you know what? Like, I don't know.
Well, the redcoats, red or something,
I
or
know at
it wasn't
Butlins
blue.
there are redcoats, but that's a holiday park.
That does nothing for me. I don't know what that means. One point is there's nothing really offensive we can like slang that we can call you British people. You know, we can call you Brits. We can call you the slaves of the Queen. I don't know. It's not really.
Try it. Like, just
I don't know.
you'll find something, Morty. Just keep trying to find something to offend the British, and you'll get there. I
I
believe
don't
in
know.
you.
I'm not trying to start an international incident here. I'm just a poor man. I got no money for lawsuits.
Absolutely.
All right. So, all right. Let's. We got off track.
Yeah.
So this one was like they said. This semifinal was pretty interesting too. We had two teams, and very close. Every game it was like one person, and it seemed like it was separated by like 1 point every time almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that in that one in particular, this is where it
Yeah,
showed that like the final vote was going to be super close. But like
yeah,
the what you could tell is that if they were winning out by one vote every time, these extra points were going to add up, and then if they were always 1 point behind in the big vote, no matter how much you're just one behind, it's going to be like a country mile by the end of it.
yeah. I'm glad you said the country, because all of this we was talking about earlier brings up my next point about this semifinal, this quarterfinal. I don't know why I keep saying quarterfinal. All right. So you have this game that you play. Every sentence must, right?
Yeah.
And then one of the games you played, every sentence must include the name of a shop. Now, in this game, you had 4 different people from 4 different places. So, with that game, essentially, you can make up anything, and they can't check you on it unless they Google it during the show, right?
Yeah.
I heard so many things. I heard this, and at one point, I forgot I think her name was Christian. She said something about Nasty Girl, and I'm thinking, there's a shop called Nasty Girl. That sounds made up.
It
So,
it does.
what?
It does. I can't deny it. Like everyone, they've got to be on the honor system. You can wing it, you
Yeah,
can blag it so far, but ultimately you have to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the night.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I heard a couple of them, and I'm sure they were like, real. I heard like the Chief and there's a lot of them I heard, but I remember Nasty because I listened out for the Nasty, and I heard Nasty, and I was like, what shop is that? I gotta look up this shop. Nasty.
Does it exist?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. My internet's been pretty shaky. It just came back up today, so I could do the show. I'm gonna check afterwards for Nasty. Well, then what kind of shops you got out there that sound fake? I know you got a lot. Tesco is one of them.
Yeah, Tesco. We have Sainsbury's. We have a Lidl and Aldi and Asda. Yeah, it's like
A Lidl?
like a little shop, and we have a oldie one which isn't quite as youngy as it used to be, and
Oh, that's the one they got the E at the end. Old and shopping, right?
yeah.
Those guys.
I've just fact checked this, and there is a women's clothing shop called Nasty Girl. or Nasty Gal.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it located?
So far, like from what I can tell, it's an online shop, but I don't know. Let's see if it says about location.
See there it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate to be looking
Oh,
at.
is it?
Oh no,
Is
it
it
doesn't
one
look
of
too bad.
those-
The first thing perhaps was like slightly spicier than the rest of it makes it look, but yeah. So
Alright. Alright, so then we got two more. We got one more, right?
we had the
Or have
Mafia
all
against
the-
the Jesters.
Do that again. Because I can't see it on my. The Mafia and the Jesters ours, and the Mafia took it. The Mafia's got pretty far last year too, right? In the team final.
Yeah, they made it into the semi-finals, but obviously last year there was a first round before the quarterfinals, so they like dominated in the first round, opening round, went into the quarters, won there as well, and then the semi-final was between the Jesters and the Mafia. And last time the Jesters came out on top and went on to win the whole thing. This time the Mafia got redemption for themselves.
So is that these matchups, were they random?
Yep, entirely from the teams from a hat random draw.
Wow, so the first and the second seed from last year got paired up in the very first round. What are the odds, man?
Yeah. Well, actually, last year, like the winners were the Jesters. Coming second was the Vampire Penguins, who will be playing tomorrow night.
Oh, well, I meant the high seed.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Oh, great. Yes. So two high seeds together. Like, you hate to see that because you know one of them's got to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. And and being that they were last year's champions, knocked out in the first round. Oh,
It guarantees there will be new champions this time.
Well, yeah. Let's hope. You know, and so what? We got two more semifinals left.
Yeah. Quarterfinals. We have the Melons against the Unicorns tonight, and the Vampire Penguins against the debut of the Karate Crabs tomorrow.
Karate Crabs. I gotta say, I saw their mascot, and it's quite a little ensemble he's got going on there. When you got he's got hair.
Yeah, it's all very Danny LaRusso from Karate Kid.
But I seen your little Elvis collar. Is that a nod to Elvis Kung Fu?
No, not at all. It's not a collar. It's just like a perception thing. It's actually like the headband that we see, because obviously like a crab like wouldn't have like hair on the top of the head. The eyes would be like floating up here. And so then what looks like, you know, it's coming up as the collar is actually just the back of the headband.
Oh, and then with the cropping out. Oh, I see. Hey, I thought it was pretty ingenious, but now that you told me, then I think differently.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's anything but genius.
Yeah. So to these karates. Wait, last year, how many teams did you start out with?
Last year there was 16 teams.
Okay. So do we have less people this time?
No,
is that why you're?
No, there's like the same amount of people, but it means that each team, whereas last year the idea was that each team would have 3 or 4 players, depending on just the role of how things went. This time each team's got a minimum of 4, sometimes 5 players.
Oh, okay. So is there a cap?
No, again, you know, just with the idea of like keeping things like inclusive for everyone who wants to take part, everyone who wants to be in a team. Like basically, like I even have like an email. We're gonna see there could even be like a late addition. There's been like a late application. We're gonna see if someone else, and they might be a surprise even joining the Geek Squadron tomorrow, or not tomorrow
What?
rather.
So we might see additional players on different
You
teams
never know who's
without
going to
their
turn up.
knowledge.
Yeah, without anyone's knowledge. You may even have like defections. Like, it's not impossible. Like, there's rumors, there's predictions that we could be midway through Flames versus Werewolves versus Geek Squadron. Corey Birch could just rip off that Geek Squadron t-shirt and have a werewolf underneath. You never know.
Oh my goodness. Who knew that this championship would turn into a soap opera? The extreme and the restless.
There you go. Boom.
Boom, boom. All right, so we got one tonight, right? You said.
Yeah.
Right
Unicorns,
after this.
watermelons. Unicorns, watermelons. Yep, coming up in about 20 minutes.
Right, and then the next one, the karates.
Yep, that's tomorrow night against the Vampire Penguins, who were last year's grand finalists against the Jesters. So currently, they are the highest ranked team still in the championship.
Look at that. Well, I got my fingers crossed for them. I hope, some of the high seed teams, make it. I played last year, I think.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't play in the team. I don't think I played in the team. I think I played in the regular championship, the individual
in the
one.
world championship.
I wish the world championship. But I probably should have signed up for this. This seems very exciting.
Well,
a little more exciting than
there's
last.
probably still time.
What? I can jump in?
Yeah.
Oh, I might be able to take Corey's spot on the werewolves, right? Or is that already taken?
That's well, like that may be like we'll I don't know. We'll have to look into that one, Morty. We'll have to look into that one.
Why are you stuttering when I?
It's just the excitement over it, like just thinking of like Morty being on a team, going up. Because obviously you've got a long history with like some of the Geek Squadron. Corey, as you just mentioned. I don't know if you had met like Paul and Jennifer and Elke previously, but just having you against that team, I could see as being a challenge.
Yeah, well, who knows what the future may hold. But, I'm excited about this team championship. I didn't see too much of it last year, but I'm really invested this year. And I'm excited to see what's happening. I'm going to do another update after the semifinals. Got it right.
Awesome.
Got it right. Yeah.
Right.
But then we got another. We got one coming up, right?
Yeah, we've got one coming up. We're gonna have to begin to wrap things just as the teams will be in the wings warming up.
Well, that's what I was doing. I'm just trying to wrap it up. But I didn't know a good way to end the show. So I think we just did it.
Quite possibly. So,
listen. So this is Morty, and that was David, and this is my wrap-up show. I'll see you after the semifinals, going into the finals.
Okay, and boom.